Hey guys, welcome to Unicycle Lore. That's right, unicycling is officially old enough for nostalgic video essay content. If you're a unicyclist, I think you'll enjoy this, and if you're not a unicyclist, congratulations on the absolutely busted algorithm you're working with. I'm kind of impressed, actually. You should stick around anyway. Fewer riders have had a bigger impact than the guy we're discussing today, Shaun Johannesson. He was active very early on in the street scene, from around 2004 until about the end of 2008. And then he had another brief stint of active riding around 2011, 2012, which we're going to talk about later. For now, I want to focus on his early riding career, which is absolutely crazy if you consider where the sport was at the time. This guy basically defined what street riding was going to be through the late 2000s and 2010s. He had a huge emphasis on technical lines, grinds, and in particular flip tricks, combining them with a flow that was pretty much unmatched at the time. He had too many MBDs to list here, but just to name a few notable ones, he was the first person to land a double flip and a triple flip, also the hick flip, which made him the first rider to combine a spin and a flip, and the full varial flip, which was the most technical trick at the time he landed it. He combined a spin, a twist, and a flip.
These are twists, or spins, and they're flips. That's a big one.
He was also able to 720 unispin on flat, which made him one of only 4 people in the entire world, the rest of them being freestyle guys who rode in gyms. At the time, a 7-spin was like a god-tier trick. There were not many people doing them. People were speculating if 900s were even possible. He even made a tutorial about it when there was nobody else trying it, which was pretty funny. It kind of shows off his personality. This dude had a big personality.
Just flip tricks.
He was really confident. Clearly, he was hungry to be the best. And his attitude online rubbed a lot of old heads the wrong way. He caught an embarrassing amount of flack for it on the unicyclist.com forums, and those were pretty much the only way to connect with other riders at the time. The truth was, though, that his riding was top-notch, okay? He was able to put his money where his mouth was, and people were blown away with some of his earliest edits, and especially his appearance in the 2005 DVD Defect, which was produced by the true father of street unicycling, Dan Heaton. So despite his attitude, people did seem to eventually come around to Shaun when they realized just how good he was and how much he could do for the sport. And for a while, because of unicycling, Shaun was living almost like a rock star kind of lifestyle, He was traveling the world for appearances at things like a Macy's, like a fashion event hosted by Macy's. He filmed a commercial for an energy drink in Colombia. And he was a special guest at Fluck, which would eventually become the Extreme Unicycle Championships, or EUC, which that's a competition we still have today. And for a lot of new riders coming onto the scene, Shaun was the closest thing the sport had to a Tony Hawk type figure. Now, unfortunately, despite his best efforts, Shaun was unable to make unicycling into his full-time job, and so his riding kind of sputtered out toward the end of 2008 or beginning of 2009. This was just after he landed what was, without a doubt, the biggest banger of the early era of unicycling, the Sedge Flip. This he named using his initials to put a bow on an incredibly impressive unicycling career. It was a combination of a 720 unispin and a crank flip. The trick was nothing short of mythical at the time it was landed, but a lot of people questioned the validity of Shaun naming it after himself. Mostly French people wanted to call it a 7th flip. As time went on, though, people just started to use the name Shaun originally gave it, and it has stuck, which I think is, he deserves that. So that was kind of the end there until about 2011, when Shaun made a comeback in 2011. He started a brand called Relentless by Fate with Kelly Hickman. They made a YouTube channel together and uploaded a few really solid edits showing that Shaun still had it, even after years of inactivity. He attended the North American Unicycling Championships in 2011, and although he didn't compete, he was active at the event. He was filming, riding, engaging with aspiring young riders who saw him as a legend come out of retirement. And afterward, Shaun even helped coach a few notable up-and-coming riders from the Midwest, teaching future street pro Kyle Alviani his technique for grinding handrails. You can catch a full breakdown of that on this channel if you're interested. But yeah, he became a mentor figure to a lot of younger riders for a while there. Unfortunately, Shaun's return to the sport was short-lived, and after a kind of embarrassing online debate about what makes a flip trick late, he bowed out once again, this time seemingly for good. I hope you've enjoyed this look back on his career. I hope you can appreciate everything this dude did for the sport. Honestly, without him, unicycling would never be where it is today. So yeah, if you were around when Shaun was active on the scene, drop a comment, let me know what I missed here. If you liked the video, don't forget to hit the thumbs up and subscribe for more unicycling content. That does it for this time.